Welcome to Valorant. Emphasis on the rant.
Aw, I can't hit shots, mommy.
The game where people who think they're good at shooters to come to get one-tapped by a child skipping school. Now, Valorant is made by the same folks who made League of Legends, so if you watched my other video, you partially know what to expect. I don't know what it is about this game studio, but they attract the worst types of people on the planet. Unlike League, Valorant, or as I shall affectionately call it from now on, Val, is a tactical shooter, a la Counter-Strike and Rainbow Six Siege, with a focus on more realistic weapon management, such as them actually having recoil, and your bullets basically having a mind of their own when you're not actively controlling the spray. But where Val differs from these other tactical shooters is that they have different characters with different abilities who all neatly fit into different roles. But we'll talk about these characters later. The main objective of the game, it differs depending on which game mode you're playing, but we'll start with the main mode, which are bomb-based, that being unrated, competitive, and spike rush. The gist of it is basically that you are either you're either attackers or defenders. As attackers, you need to plant the spike in order to harvest some crystal or something. I don't know, I don't watch the YouTube videos. And as defenders, you have to kill all the opponents or defuse a spike. Both sides continuously earn money to spend on guns, shields, and abilities. Very simple. In theory. This goal is shared with all three of the main game modes, and with the casual option still being a sweaty cesspit, the only difference between unrated and competitive is that you actually lose something when you play comp. But no one would willingly play that, right? These matches will go for up to 24 rounds, with 13 total giving you the win. After 24, the game will go into overtime and sudden death, switching between attacking and defending each round, and the game going until one team has won at least 2 rounds in a row. As OT goes on, the game will give you the option to draw, first needing 6 people to vote, then 3, then 1 if the game is still going for that long. A draw will not take or give any RR to anyone, only giving you a performance bonus. Now, me personally, I think that they should make it so that you earn a lesser amount of RR, like 10 to 15 if you do well, as it can be pretty disheartening to play a 2-hour game only to get nothing because you had to draw. But those two can get out of here. Spike Rush is the most casual out of the 3 bomb-based game modes, but with a few welcome additions. The first being that every round, everyone gets the same gun, eliminating the need to buy stuff, so no shop. The next is that everyone has a spike to plant, so not arguing over who picks it up and then getting mad when they die before planting. And finally, the orbs that you use to gain extra charge on your ultimate are replaced with power-ups, and these can range from life regen, no shields though, to a golden gun that one-shots from any range. You have to actually hit your shots. And there's also deathmatch, which is just free-for-all with infinite creds, but people only play that to aim train, and escalation, which is just gun game. There's also holiday-specific ones, but I ain't got any footage of those, so... But with the game being so heavily reliant on individual skill, it can be hard to enjoy the game when there's just someone who's straight up better than you, just one-tapping you over and over and over and over, even in the less competitive modes. But I'm Silver, so do with that what you will. Next up is agents. Now, Riot have made my job a lot easier by grouping their agents into roles, these being Duelist, Initiator, Controller, and Sentinel. Duelists are the lurkers and entry fraggers, with them being able to take fights alone and come out unscathed. These agents will often have either high sustain, like Phoenix and Reyna, allowing them to heal after a scrap, or high movement, like Jet and Yoru, those who are able to quickly run away from a fight if it gets out of control, or make easy picks by holding off angles. This also includes entering onto site for their team, which basically means that they have to walk on site first and make a pick, allowing the rest of the team to be able to walk on relatively safely. But a lot of people forget about this. I'm talking about you Instalock Jets, you rats. Initiators are basically pseudo-duelists, but with many of them also having recon tools along with their flashes and blinds to be more of an asset to their team, with them being expected to get their teams onto a site if a duelist can't on their own. Controllers are the walking smoke bombs of the game, with all of them having some way to fuck with the vision of the enemy, and also some way to disable them. You know, Astra Concuss, Omen Blind, you know what I'm talking about. Finally is Sentinels. They are supposed to lock down sites, not allowing anyone to get on site without them knowing, but over time they've kinda lost their original job. With Cypher being where he is now, KJ only being good on like 2 maps, and Chamber being a duelist, this role is pretty useless until Riot decides to change them up a bit. Of course, different agents bleed into different roles, with some being better at some things while worse at others, but for most of the time, the teams will rarely deviate from 2 duelists, 1 smoke, 1 recon, and a sage, because that res is way too good to pass up. Now, as I said earlier, almost everything you do will get you money. Kills, plants, losses, ironically.
Here comes the money!
Anyway, you could spend this money at the start of each round buying shields, abilities, and most importantly, guns! Glorious guns! The guns we have right now manage to fill every niche you can think of. Want long range pick potential without the high price tag? Boom, you got the Marshall. Want more versatility but still want one tap potential? Phantom. Want a style on your enemies? Guardian. Now that's a real man's gun. Shows you're not afraid to die. To put it all on a singular bullet and a dream, knowing that if you miss, you lose to almost every other. But no matter what you pick, you won't be able to do much unless you can actually aim. So in the hands of a good player, any gun to be good at almost any range. But if you don't want to go through all that nerd shit like improving and actually getting good, just buy an Odin, play Sova, and spam through fucking walls. And that's the basics. Of course you got skins, but they offer no gameplay changes other than making anyone who has a knife have to switch to it and do the inspec animation. Like, I get it, Timmy, you have ADHD and you need to see the funny flashing lights on your knife. Just please pull out your gun, you're on sight! There's also players, but come on, you know the people who play this game.
Bitch, you fucking suck, William! You suck!
As much as it pains me to say it, 7 out of 10. The game can be very fun when you're just in a match with your mates fucking around, and all the mechanics, for the most part, are pretty well balanced, but as soon as someone takes the match seriously, the game just turns into a sweat fiesta and all fun is drained from the match. It's the players that knock it down. The actual game, pretty cool. Now, if you do decide to play the game, do not touch competitive. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Okay, bye, sorry for the wait. Stuff's coming.